It is Monday and I am busy, so we're going to jump right into some of these weekend finds and then we'll go over a few items that sold over on eBay. So here in the table are just a few of the items that came from the 50-mile garage sale on Route 90 here in New York. And I drove over 250 miles on Friday going to and from this garage sale route, and then, well, zigzagging in between the little towns along the way and hitting up a bunch of garage sales that were off the beaten path. But I did find some pretty good stuff, and one of them being this Nintendo Switch, the OLED Switch. It came with this Pro controller, I think they call it, and there's one game in there, I forgot what it is, nothing spectacular, but then a few other games in here. One of them is going to do the best, I think, is going to be this Mario Kart Deluxe 8, but really good condition. Comes with the original Nintendo case, the power cord, the dock, and I think this should do pretty good. Probably around $200 would be my guess. Another item that's going to bring close to $200 is this radar detector. Maybe 150 to 200, somewhere in that range. But this is a Valentine One. It's the first gen. It takes a phone cord for a power cord, which I actually have a few spares of along with a cigarette adapter, because this is the radar that I've been using for almost my entire life of driving. I've had one of these in my car for the longest time. I had one get stolen and had that replaced, but this was only $10, and like I said, should sell for anywhere between $150 and $200. Now this watch, I thought someone dropped it off a boat and found it like buried in the water somewhere, because it's got water in it. But this is a fossil watch, and apparently this is how it's supposed to be. Now the second hand is floating around on the edge there. So I don't know if that fell off, but if it did, and that's how this is, it's supposed to go on there, not supposed to look like it's floating around, that could be an issue, because I don't think I'm going to be able to take this apart and fix it properly. But it also looks like it's been sitting in the sun, and then it grew some like algae or something. But it was only a couple of bucks, so I figured I would take a chance. This receiver is a brand that I've never heard of. It's a Nikko NR500, only $5. I plugged it in, it lights up, it does work. I hooked up some speakers to it. I haven't tried the phono setting out on it just yet, but the aux, the FM, AM, all that stuff works. And for $5, this should do okay. I haven't looked up comps yet, but I'm guessing it's going to be maybe $100 to $150 if I'm lucky. So for $5, this was well worth the buy. For $10, I don't know if this is a good one or not. It's a Saeco Bar 2000 espresso machine, kind of rough, and it's going to take a lot of cleaning, and I'm not even sure if it's going to work. I've got to dig into this thing and hope that all of the hoses and fittings and all that aren't completely destroyed from like hard water, or if there's any hard water buildup inside. So this could turn into a nightmare really fast, but I grabbed it for $10 and I looked it up quick and I couldn't find any comps. So I don't know. We'll dig into this one when I've got some free time and see if it, hopefully it works. But on top of that was this Yamaha PortaSound PSS30, and it was $2. It's a weird price tag. It's missing the battery cover, but I mean, I'm fine with that, because it looks like the battery cover fell off and the batteries went with it, which is great, because half the time when I find these little keyboards, they're full of corrosion because the batteries were left inside. But this one's in really, really good condition. Clean battery compartment. I'm hoping someone's got one of these covers on eBay. I'll have to take a look. But only $2. Well worth the buy. I think this is going to sell really quick. Down here, we've got a Game Boy Pocket in yellow. He said the screen didn't work, and when I turned it on, it had some weird lines on it, but then I adjusted the contrast, and it works. It looked great. So he gave it to me for $20, and he threw in a TI 84 Plus that he had there for $3 as well. So that was well worth it, I think. Then here's a TI 83 for 75 cents. But a yellow Game Boy Pocket, really good condition. And if the screen were broken, I may have just, pulled out the screen and modded it or something like that. But it came with a carrying case too, which I thought was pretty cool. Sony Handycam here. These can go for some really good money. This came from a church sale in Homer, New York. This is my first stop along this garage sale trail. And, well, I was not the only dealer there. There were a lot of people just scooping stuff up left and right. This one should do pretty well. This is the DCR SX65. Came with the original charging cable, which is nice because it's got a weird proprietary plug on it. And then moving along to some more Sony stuff. I've got a white Watchman sitting over there. And now I've got a gray one for only $5. Not going to pick anything up, but these are just the coolest things in the world. When I was a kid, I wanted one so bad, and I never got one, so now I'm buying them when I see them and just displaying them here in the garage. Grabbed a Panasonic recorder here. Don't even know if it works, but I think this was like only $1, and it looks like someone left it on the stove or something. It's all melted away. This probably a mistake. Looks like someone threw it out of a car window. It's just a sticker on the back with someone's picture. It looks like maybe the original sticker that came in the camera, but that was protecting the screen, and it looked decent under the screen, so that's why I grabbed this for only $5. This here is a LiftMaster 635 LM garage door opener button that plugs into the wall. This came out of a garage sale / dealer booth area, and it was weird. It was $2. Everything they had was like $2 or $3. Older couple that were really looking at everything you were doing, so they must have just assumed that I was coming here to rip them off. And when I gave her this box, I gave her the money. I had the box in my hand. It goes, "Here's $2." She goes, "Well, let me open that up and make sure there's nothing else in there." And I'm like, what do you think? I'm stealing a couple dollar items and packing them in there? But whatever. You run into those people from time to time, and this was definitely one of them, because for whatever reason they thought I was trying to steal a bunch of extra stuff and put it into this box. Right behind it, Craftsman belt sander for only $5. There's a Notman, I think, or I can't pronounce it. It's a little crystal vase here with a stopper on the top of it, only $4. Some Kicker Comp 10-inch subwoofers. These were only $10, but they came with some cables, and I don't want these speakers. I'll probably send them down the road, but they came with some OFC power and ground cables, oxygen-free copper, which is pretty expensive right now, and I'm going to actually use that in my own truck when I hook up that little Pioneer over there. But that's the stuff on this table so far that I found. Oh yeah, there's a Coleman lantern and another accordion, because of course I need another accordion. But over here on the floor is the electric trucking, the US1 set. There's a few different versions of these, and some of them can sell for up to $1,000 and more. I think the Wrecker set goes for the most amount of money, but this one is the long haul set. It's got both trucks in there. It's got all the pieces and parts in there, and I don't want to move this too much because it's teetering on a small box over here. But this should do really, really well. I was very happy to find this one. I've never seen this set before. It's going to probably bring some pretty good money. And if it's not 100% complete, I'll end up just parting it out. And on one of the last sales of the day, I found a Dyno BMX bike for only $20. It's in rough shape. It's not in the best condition. And it's also not one of the higher end dyno bikes out there. But for only $20, this thing was well worth the purchase. Probably worth about $100 to $150. Maybe a little, I don't know, maybe a little more if you part it out. But it's got decent rims on it. It doesn't have the front brakes. The handlebars are kind of trashed. But the bars themselves, even though they're trashed, somebody would want these, to complete their BMX build once they obviously scrape away all the rust and get them cleaned up. But only $20. Thought this one was well worth it. And let me know, would you have picked up this dyno right here, or would you have just walked right past it? And I almost forgot about the talking Computron, and it does actually still work.
Please choose an activity.
This thing is awesome. I can't remember what it took here in the cartridges, but all the stuff does work. So you type in, like, let's click on spelling.
How do you spell banana?
Banana.
B-A-N-A-N-A. Yes, you are right.
This thing is so cool. The display is really dim. It's hard to see. It kind of shows up here on the camera, but this was only $2. It was actually at the same garage sale as the little Yamaha PortaSound keyboard. It does take batteries. I haven't cracked that open to see if it's full of corrosion, but it does work. So I'm guessing if there is any corrosion in this thing, it's going to be minimal. But only $2. I think this was really, really cool, and I'll put a comp up on the screen for some of the solds. All right, let's jump into some of the sales here, because we had some pretty good ones come in over the weekend. First thing going out is Knack 2 for the PS4. This one I just picked up recently, and it sold for $9 plus shipping. This Looney Tunes talking character wall clock sat in my shop for quite a while. I had it priced way too high, I think, and lowered the price, kept lowering the price, and finally someone just bought it, and they paid $42 plus shipping. So this Seiko that I picked up for only $1, unfortunately, is broken. So I listed this for parts or not working, and it just sold for $20 plus shipping. This next piece is a Casio Pathfinder watch. It's in really good condition because it's a new open box item. All it needed was a battery. So this one didn't last very long in the shop, and it sold for $70 plus shipping. Another recent find, this Plantronics M70 Bluetooth headset, new in the package, only $2 at a garage sale, and this one just sold for $89.98 plus shipping. The Polly Pocket Castle is heading out the door, incomplete, but it does work and it lights up, and this one just sold for $24.98 plus shipping. Here's one that's been sitting in the shop for a long time, and I finally just got around to listing it because I honestly didn't know what I was going to do with it. It came out of an estate sale. It's a Dan Dennehy leather sheath. It's in good condition. It's for a fixed blade knife, and I don't really know much about this, but it's been sitting down here for a long time, and I said, let me just list this and just see what I can get for it. So I listed it, and it sold within a couple of days for my full asking price of $79.98 plus shipping. I listed 2 of the 1986 Topps baseball wax boxes here on eBay. I think I listed them for like $169 or best offer, and I did get a best offer for one of them here for $150 plus shipping. So that Empire Builder board game that I picked up, unfortunately, was incomplete. So what I did was I took a bunch of the different card sets out and lotted them up on eBay, along with the extra pieces and stuff like that. And this here is a lot of 12 double-sided cards from that game. And this lot of 12 here just sold for $24.95. Here we've got an old school Alpine head unit that just sold. This is the CDA 9853, one model below the CDA 9855. And this one here has a different screen, basically the same as the 9855, but the next model up had a more detailed screen. This one did not last long in the store, and it sold for $185 plus shipping. All right, I'm gonna get this stuff boxed up and head out because I've got to go help clean out a 10 by 30 storage unit, and it's gonna take a while. So hopefully I get some cool stuff out of that, and if I do, I'll be sure to show you guys here in another video. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.